everyone, and welcome back to WaverlyReads, and welcome to another wrap up. Today I'm going to be going through the books that I read in the month of April. I can't believe it's May already. It's kind of insane to think about, but it is. It's May. It's insane. And I only read 5 books last month. But in all fairness, they are pretty big books. So these are the 5 books that I read. Obviously there is one smallish one, which is this one here, which I think is quite an average sized book, and the rest are pretty thick, but I actually got through them all. So you all know the gists of wrap-ups, the books I read. By now I'm going to tell you what they're about, tell you what I thought about them, tell you my rating, and then move on to the next book. The first book is actually following on from March. Yeah, March comes before April, so my first book is following on from March. I started reading it at the end of March and finished it in the first few days of April, and that is a reread of The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. If you don't know what this book is about already, A, you're new to my channel, so welcome, and B, where are you and how many rocks have you been living under, because this thing is famous. I'll tell you what it's about anyway, just a quick little brief summary, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on it, which are obviously the same as they have always been because I love this book. It's amazing. Hunger Games follows this girl named Katniss who lives in a dystopian society, post-apocalyptic, and it is set in a world where everyone is separated into factions 1 to 12, and then there is the capital district, which is basically the ruler of the whole society. The capital holds this game every year where, is it every year or every 2 years? I think it's every year, where you have to sacrifice 2 of your children from each district, 1 boy, 1 girl between the age of 11 and 18. And Katniss's sister gets called out. She is 11, she has only been entered once into the Hunger Games, and the first Hunger Games she is in, she gets pulled out, and Katniss volunteers for her and takes her place. And basically in this, the Hunger Games, you go in, there's 2 children from every single district, so 24 children, 12 boys, 12 girls, and they all have to fight to the death, and only one person can win, and I mean literally to the death, like they all have to kill each other. And only one person can win, and that's what the Hunger Games is about. It's very twisted, very dark, and I love it so very much, and I wish there was more to this world because there's only 3 books and it's really sad. I want a prequel, I want a sequel, I want novellas, I want it all, but I don't think I'm going to get it. The next book I read is Restore Me by Tara Murphy. This is the 4th book, I think, in the Shatter Me trilogy. It started off as a trilogy, now it's a series, even though from the 4th book onwards it's kind of done a time skip and it's kind of like a whole separate thing. However, I still can't tell you what this is about because it will spoil the whole first 3 books, so I can't tell you much about what this is about. But Shatter Me, which is down there, that one here, is about a girl named Juliet who has these powers, this gift per se, where anyone she touches, she can inflict pain upon them and potentially kill them if she doesn't pull away quick enough. And she has no control over this power. And there is a guy named Warner who has taken her in to use her power for bad and to basically make her into a weapon, and she doesn't want to be that way. I can't talk too much more about that because stuff happened in the first one and it just goes woo-hoo-hoo. This is the 4th book to that, and it's kind of going on a different story. It's the same characters, but it's going on a very, very vastly different story from what the first 3. It progressed so quickly, and now I'm on this one. These are so easy to read. This one is not my favourite of the series, I will admit. Not much really happened in this. To be fair, not much happens in a lot of them, but this one particularly, not a lot happened into it. But I have got the next book and I will be continuing with the series till I'm finished. I think I have all of them now up to date. However, this copy and Defy Me is different from the Shatter Me, and it kind of bugs me, but it kind of separates them, which I like. What am I talking about covers for? I don't know, they are stunning though. The 3rd book I read was Argente by Gita Trelease. This book got cracked and I'm very, very sad about it. Can you see? Like really bad. Someone that I work with opened my book to the page I was on and cracked it, and from then on there was no going back. So this book is set in Paris during some revolution. It doesn't focus on the revolution, but the revolution is happening. It's Paris in 1789. It follows our main protagonist Camille, who is a poor girl living in this city, and she's trying to find rent, escape her abusive brother, and look after her younger sister. To do that, she wields magic, and she makes fake coins out of buttons and stuff to pay for the things that she needs. And after like a few hours or so, the coins turn back into buttons, so she's constantly on the run as well. She turns herself into this Baroness. She finds this dress in her mother's big chest thing that's been locked up. She finds this dress which is enchanted, and if you drop your blood onto it, it transforms you into a Baroness. It makes you look healthier, younger, prettier, and just like richer. So she does that, and then she goes into the posh side of town and gambles. A boy, while she is poor, who is like trying to invent hot air balloons and is starting to fall for him, but she's leading a double life, and it's very hard to explain. Actually, I didn't realise how hard that would be to explain. I think I gave it around a 3.5 star. It wasn't my type of book completely. I did enjoy it in the moment, but it wasn't like the best thing I've ever read. The fourth book I read was Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead, and this is not a reread, guys. This is the first time I've ever read these books. I know, I hate myself too. This is a second-hand copy I picked up about a year ago, maybe? I don't think it was this year. I got this one and the second one, and I actually kind of enjoyed this one. So this book follows our main protagonist Rose, who is a half vampire, half human, I think. Like, she definitely has something in her that makes her not a human. And she goes to the school with her best friend Lissa, who is a royal vampire, who they're training to be vampires, and Rose and other people like Rose are training to become protectors, bodyguards of said vampires. Lissa and Rose ran away before the events of this book, and it starts with them being captured to take them back to the school, hence the Vampire Academy. A whole lot of mischief and magic going on, and I can't explain too much about it because a lot of it is spoilers. So they go back to the school and they don't want to be there, but they're basically forced to be there. And it's got a lot of forbidden love and romance in it, and just a whole lot going on. I don't know how to explain this book without spoiling it, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I did enjoy it. I rated it around a 3.5 again, and I will be continuing with the series just to see where it goes. However, I've definitely read better. And then the last book I read was Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas. Finally got around to the third book in the Throne of Glass series. It was definitely really hard to pick up in the beginning because I've forgotten Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. I've forgotten like most of the events of those books, so it was definitely hard, and throughout the book I was like, oh yeah, that happened. And I can't tell you anything about this book, obviously, as it is the third book in the trilogy. It's not a trilogy, I've just got the first 3 books, that's why I said that. It's the third book in the series, but I'll tell you a brief summary of what I remember Throne of Glass being. So, we have our main protagonist Selena, who is an assassinist? Is that the right word? She's an assassin, and in the beginning of Throne of Glass she is in this jail like that's really horrible, and she gets whipped and stuff, and it's atrocious and really heartbreaking. But she gets she gets taken out of jail by the prince and the king. They want her to enter these assassin games to become the royal assassin. She has a chance to leave the life of slavery behind and become a royal assassin. However, she has to do all of the king's deeds if she wins. If she doesn't, she can die, or she'll go back to being a slave. And it was really, really good from what I remember reading it. I think I gave this one, again, around a 3.54 stars. All of my reads seem to be around that, other than The Hunger Games, which was a reread. I did enjoy it, it just took me a while to get into it, and I will still be continuing on with the series. I just think I need to go back and reread them all back to back and then continue, because it was really hard to get through this, and there are still some things I'm not sure about. And honestly, I finished it a week and a half ago when I'm filming this, and I don't remember much about it, so I'm gonna have to go back and reread the entire trilogy, which is horrible because this book is nearly 600 pages long. That's not gonna happen I said trilogy again, didn't I? I did. That's not gonna happen this year. Maybe I'll just go back and read spoiler summaries of them. I don't know. But yeah, that's another book I read. So those are the 5 books that I managed to get to last month, and I enjoyed them all a fair amount. They were all 3.5 plus. The only one that really stood out to me was The Hunger Games, evidently, because I've reread it and I love it and I always will. I did enjoy them all and started another series. Great. But I made some progress in 2 series as well. Argente is becoming a series as well. The way this ended definitely opens up to a next book. So if you enjoyed this wrap up, then please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I post a new weekly video like this every single Thursday on this channel, and a new weekly reading vlog on my vlogging channel, which is always in the description as well, every single Monday, so go subscribe to that. And I will see you next week for another video. In fact, you'll probably be getting another video today because I also need to get my haul up and I feel bad for not uploading. So you may be getting 2 in one day, and if you do, well done. I actually did something. If you don't, I'm sorry. I'll see you next time for another video. Bye.